Warning, this video is for mature audiences only. You know, I don't think it comes to the surprise of anyone when I tell anyone that I really like bigger characters. I like the bulky characters that deal a lot of damage and take up a lot of space. So when Mortal Kombat 11 was announced to have Sheeva, a Shokan, I was super excited. However, you can imagine my disappointment when I find out that Sheeva is indeed the worst character in the DLC, if not the worst character in the game, for me personally. And let me discuss as to why I come to this conclusion.
Have you come from the future only to insult me?
Yes.
Now, let's start off with the story. During the events of MKX, Sheeva was crowned queen after besting the other Shokan in a tournament. After doing such, she was pretty absent during MKX, and during MK11 she only made a brief cameo. Honestly, the entire idea of Sheeva rising to be the leader of the Shokan was a pretty unique idea that I was kind of excited for, especially since Sheeva as a character didn't have much to her apart from being a Shokan. She was just a female Goro for most people. However, to my disappointment, they instead to focus more on the equality aspect of Sheeva, which, for simplicity's sake, does not work. Now, if there's any character that actually represents equality in Mortal Kombat's story, it would arguably be Kitana, specifically in Mortal Kombat 11, because her entire story is about bringing justice and unity for all races in Outworld. So she was a far more justified character to focus on a story about unity. But Sheeva, on the other hand, represents the Shokan. And if anyone knows anything about the Shokan, they know that they are responsible for subjugating most of the races in Outworld. They are entitled, they are on the top of the food chain, and if you were going to do a story about equality with the Shokan, it would be about them showing humility and respecting the other races as equals. And then when we jump into Aftermath, where she's actually very involved in, not only does Sheeva fail to represent equality, she goes entirely against it throughout the story. She lies to Baraka, a Tarkatan, before insulting the Tarkatan race and implying that they are ignorant. Then she goes out of her way to insult Aaron Black by calling him an outlander and to know his place. And throughout the dialogue intros, you're gonna find her discriminating against multiple different races, from the human to the Kaitin to the Tarkatans. All throughout MK11, she fails to stand by the equality that she supposedly represents.
You do not intimidate a Shokan.
Because I don't have 4 arms?
Because you are human.
Now, some people might argue that, hey, a lot of characters in Mortal Kombat happen to be racist. Why is it such a big deal that Sheeva is racist as well? But you gotta remember that A, Sheeva is supposedly representing equality by her story. And B, racism and sexism isn't even half of the issues she has. Throughout Aftermath, Sheeva goes out and betrays every single bond that she has sworn loyalty to prior to her chapter. She betrays Kitana, she betrays Baraka, she betrays Kodokan, and she betrays Sindel, which is the character that she betrayed everyone else for. What's worse is the fact that Sheeva's actions and her chapter leads to what everyone agrees to be the worst part about MK11. So I ask you, what does this racist, sexist, and hypocritical character who betrays everyone who trusts her add to the story, apart from causing the worst part about the story? But let's talk about gameplay now. Surely, if her gameplay is fine, we can excuse her story. Her gameplay really sucks. Now, this is going to be more of a subjective take on my side, but honestly, I know many people who do like Sheeva's thing, and if you like her gameplay, then I respectfully disagree with you. I can guarantee you that if a Sheeva is in the screen, you are either going to be grabbed or you're going to be stomped on, because that's literally the only two things that Sheeva is capable of doing. Her combos are pretty lackluster compared to the rest, and honestly, I just find no interest in her whatsoever. Now, with that said, there really isn't much left for me to say about Sheeva. I don't like her gameplay, and I really don't like what they did with her story. Do I hope that she comes back in another installment? I know she will come back in another installment, but honestly, I hope that we see a lot more of the other Shokan. I really want to see more of Kintaro, who hasn't really been given a chance to be anything interesting for the most of the stories. So, you know, maybe in the next game we can focus on him instead. But given the fact that Great Kung Lao is probably going to be in the next game, I'm fairly confident that Goro is going to be the main Shokan again. This is Quetzal, signing off.